Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers, episode 15. Tonight, we are talking musical guilty pleasures. This is our look at the songs that we should really hate but secretly dig. Let's do our usual thing. What are we drinking tonight, boys?
Dane, you go ahead.
I'm drinking a Syrah tonight. Yes. I'm off the beer.
A what?
Yeah, I'm off the beer because it's just been fucking me up lately. And I think it's the gluten. So
Stupid gluten.
yeah, man, I've like grown like some weird intolerance to it. And like a couple weeks ago, I just had like a couple of donuts and some Budweisers, and I paid the price for like a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had gluten-free beer?
It's awful.
Fuck no.
Yeah. It tasted like car tires.
Oh, gross.
It's awful.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've thought, maybe I'll give it a shot and see if it's like worth it. But I would rather just have like a nice bottle of wine instead and like enjoy my drink. I mean,
I just find wine goes down too fast. It's too quick in a bottle, and then 2 bottles are gone. At least with beer, it slows me down because you get a little bit bloated.
yeah.
And full.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And fuck, I love drinking beer, but I don't know. I'm just like taking a little break skis right now. So
It's all right. That's all right.
yeah.
I'm not. And I'm drinking from the Dead Frog Brewery in Langley, BC.
Okay.
I'm drinking Atomic Cherry Ale.
Interesting.
What's a cherry beer?
Yeah. Have you guys ever drank Creek?
I don't think so.
Dane, have you ever had Creek?
Is it Belgian? Yeah.
Yeah. Lindeman's Creek.
Creek. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's what this tastes like because I like Creek, and I don't know if it will be the same, but here I go.
There you are.
I think the only time that I've ever enjoyed a berry style beer is at a certain brew house that brews it in house, and then they throw a handful of berries in the pint with it, that kind of a deal. But out of the can or the bottle, I've never really had much luck with it. So
It's pretty good.
Cool.
It's pretty good. Mike?
I am back on the Salty Scot from Parallel 49. It's the Scotch Ale. I had it a couple shows ago, and it was so good that I had to buy some more. So I did, and that's what we're doing.
Have you tried that Innocent Gun stuff?
I've tried 2 or 3 different Innocent Guns, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've had those like the rum cask one. I've had the whiskey cask one. Just a straight up Innocent Gun.
Yeah.
But that's another beer too. If I drink 2 of those, my head is pounding.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's so good. And like I said before, if it comes in if one single beer comes in a box, it's expensive.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive beer you've ever bought?
Probably in a pub.
In a pub? Like a pint?
Yeah, probably.
Like an overtry. It's $9 beer night.
Yeah, $9 beer, and that's probably my most expensive.
Well, I've switched from buying 12 packs and 6 packs to just buying the individual tall boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice having a little bit of variety, and it's easier to find something cool and interesting that way. So, and those are usually about $2.50 to and these are about $2.50 to $3 kind of deal for a can.
Holy fuck! They must be putting some kind of ferry charge on our beers because it's like $3.50 is your cheap shit.
Wow.
That's your Blue Buck. That's your Phillips Blue Buck. Is maybe you're lucky if you get it for $3.50, but like the crafty stuff, like it's almost $5 a can. It's nuts.
Well, you don't have a government liquor store there?
We do. Most of them are private, though.
Okay, yeah, because the government one is the one that I usually go to, and they tend to have much better prices.
Ah, okay. So I'll have to like
Yeah,
check
Yeah,
that
the-
out.
That one in Vernon is huge.
it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
it's a big
cool.
one. Have you been to that? There's that one they advertised on Highway 97 there. It's the biggest beer store in like BC, and it's in Vernon.
What?
Monashi?
Oh yeah, Monashees.
Maybe?
Yeah, they have a lot
never
of
been in
stuff
there.
there. Yeah, it used to be a bar, and they in the past couple of years they gutted the whole place and made it a liquor store. It's okay. There's a lot of variety there, but I think it's too expensive. So, and the parking's kind of shite. So I'll just go to the government liquor store unless I'm looking for something really crazy. And it's kind of cool if you want something super different. Like they have stuff on the shelves that no one, normal people wouldn't buy. Last time I was in there, I grabbed, I don't remember what it's called, but anything that I looked on the cool shelves was like covered in dust because nobody touched this stuff. So take it off the shelf, blow it off, and you got to wash off the can before you drink it. But
Literally dust it off.
exactly. But the selection there was awesome. It was just it was a little inconvenient, so I haven't really found a reason to go back. But
Yeah. So who's going to take the first dive into embarrassment?
I'm gonna nominate you because this was your selection. So
all right. Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
you got us into this
right.
mess. This is your
Fair
show.
enough.
We'll just follow.
Fair enough. All right. Well, and some of these, like I said, like maybe you guys will tell me that I'm crazy for thinking that that's a guilty pleasure, and then maybe some you'll make fun of me for, and that's okay too.
We probably will, but maybe we should back up a little bit and give a little bit of a I don't know, a backstory or definition on what makes a song a guilty pleasure. Do you have a?
Well, I think, like kind of like you said right at the beginning, actually, you almost kind of framed it perfectly. Something that we like, but maybe shouldn't like, or I don't know. Like, I think that it when you listen to it and you're like, I probably shouldn't be liking this right now, but I kind of am. I don't know what it is. And you don't want to tell anybody that you do, but you got it on your playlist somewhere buried, and it comes up every once in a while, or maybe more than once in a while, and it's all right.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go right out the door, and I'm going to give you Phil Collins is my first guilty pleasure.
All right.
As an artist, or are there specific songs that stand out, or?
Well, I mean, really, if you go anything kind of beyond In the Air Tonight, everything's pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
When you really lay it down, but I don't know. Just as I think I listened to, I know I listened to a lot of Phil Collins when I was a kid. My parents had like all the records.
Yep.
So I was pretty familiar with all of his material for the most part. I thought the album covers were kind of striking. I thought that the fact that he was a drummer was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked all that stuff, and I can still listen to all the cheesy stuff and still dig it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is, but Studio is good stuff. Like I even like the super cheesy. Even the ballads. I'm all right with the Phil Collins ballads. So
I'm completely on board with you. I mean, even go into the Genesis stuff, and that comes down to what was in the background of us growing up, right? So
yeah. I just feel like Phil Collins gets a lot of flack, like in the music world.
Really?
And oh yeah, man. Like even when they talk about when Phil Collins played with Led Zeppelin at Live Aid, right? And they basically make fun of Phil because he like messed the whole thing up, right? Like did not do a good job. Jimmy Page said it sounded like garbage, and Phil Collins sees it otherwise. But
he tried to make that his own show. Like he tried to make it a showcase on himself, right? And I think that was the biggest thing when you go in being a replacement drummer. And you take the focus off the band and you put it on yourself. Of course, you're going to go downhill on it, right? So,
yeah. Well, and if the fact that the guy took the Concorde to play both Live Aids in one day is badass, man. I don't know what it is. I like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely on the same spot with you.
Yeah, like I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I don't listen to like the Tarzan soundtrack or anything like
the
that.
Disney
Like I
stuff,
don't
yeah.
love. Yeah, I don't love every single thing that the guy ever did. But if it comes on, I will not change it. I don't know. It's his voice. I think it's just. And we've talked about this before too. You know, Mike. Like we've talked about how there's something about Phil Collins' voice that's just
It's unique.
different.
It's unique.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different. It stands out. So
For sure.
Yeah. So there you go. I kicked it off. Phil Collins. That's my number one. Well, not my number one, but the first one of tonight.
I'm surprised, Mike, because like first of all, you're a drummer, and I thought, Phil Collins is. I don't know if he's revered as a great drummer. He's like famous for being in Genesis and I guess his own band, but.
Yeah, the thing is that like Phil Collins lived through a lot of drum machine time. Right. So I don't know how much of that is him in a lot of his stuff, but a lot of it is drum machine. I know that it is, but a lot of it too at the same time is both.
Yeah.
well, he used it as a composition tool. He didn't use it as a crutch, right? He could still play the drums, but he used the machine because of the time. That was the sound of the time. So he took that and sort of did his own thing with it. So
He was the guy who, okay, so we were in an earlier podcast, we are talking about that gated drum sound from the 80s. And I would say his do, 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 do is probably one of the most famous gated, like, is that, am I correct in saying like that's like a gated drum sound?
Totally.
And like, so,
For sure.
I mean, yeah, I'm surprised because I thought you would have been like, yeah, Phil Collins is shit, like respect. But if it's a guilty,
Well, I still am. I still am. I still want respect for Phil Collins, but I just think it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure because, like I said, I'll still listen to like, I wish it would rain down on me now.
Oh,
like I'll
that's a
still listen to
great
those.
one.
Give me one more night. Give me just one.
Oh, what a great song.
Yeah, just the ballads are good. I don't know. And he's got a million hits.
Yeah.
You can't not name a Phil Collins hit, right? Like it's just
That one album.
anyways, even if the guy didn't do In the Air Tonight, I still probably would have liked it.
Yeah.
I kind of think that was a little bit of a safe choice though for you.
Well, this is dipping
the
my
smirk on your face
dipping
when
my
you
toe.
said that.
I'm just dipping my toe in the deep end right now.
Okay.
Now I lobbed a softball over there to somebody who's up next.
Okay. Well, it was hard for me to pick an individual. It took a while. Like it was even up till maybe last night, and we'd been talking about this for almost 2 weeks, and I'd back and forth and trying to think of an angle, and it was really hard for me to pick anything specific. But I managed to break it down to certain genres, and I'll probably be bouncing back and forth between those for my next couple choices. But a lot of them sort of sit in the same the same main genre anyway, not necessarily timeline. But I guess the first one that I'm going to go with is anything Alanis Morissette.
Oh, yeah.
Because when she first came out, I wanted nothing to do with it, and it was played on the radio every fifth song was over and over and over and over again. And most of the lyrics bothered me because they didn't make any sense, and like it was just the whiny kind of a vocal always bothered me. So, but within the past, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, I've found something in it that was worthwhile to listen to, I guess. Not that I would throw on the t-shirt, but it's
Christmas is coming.
that's yeah, yes, please. Number 3 on my Christmas list, but yeah, it took a while, and I don't know if it's because I didn't get it before, or I was on too many different things, or if music now is just so shite that now you look back at this old stuff that you hated before, and it's like, hey, that's not too bad compared to this new stuff, right?
Isn't it ironic?
Like, are you going further than Jagged Little Pill?
No, this is just doing Jagged Little Pill because there was nothing else in there that I cared to pursue. So
Fair enough. I can honestly say I've never listened to that album in its entirety. Like I've listened to probably 95% of those songs because I'm sure all of them were released, but I've never listened to it in its entirety. But I think now I'm going to have to
Isn't
give it a
that
shot.
ironic?
within the last 5 years, don't you think?
A little too ironic.
Phil Collins, Alanis Morissette, Dane, what
Just
do you got?
wait. I want to like unpack this a little bit because like you have.
Sorry, Mike. I tried to get you out of it.
No,
but
that's okay. That's okay. There'll be worse ones coming up here. I guarantee it.
yeah, there will. There will.
Oh man. Well, okay. So Jagged Little Pill, you have Taylor Hawkins on the kit,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
and back then I didn't know, but now, since then, and you delve into who he is and how talented he is, 100%. Now I can see the quality in it, right?
yeah. And the tunes are catchy as fuck.
Yep.
They really are. Like every once in a while they pop up on one of our playlists just because like Spotify or Apple Music thinks we like it, and me and Kira will have a little laugh, especially because like when Kira was younger, she always tells me she watched. There's like a music video where she does this weird dance and like shakes her hand. She does like a
Sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. Yeah. And that's what I hated about was the yai thing.
Kira always thought she had like a problem with her hand, and like it was like
Oh man.
there's so much to hate about that, so that's a good one. But I thought I had to throw in that. I mean, like she had a killer drummer, and then like he got poached.
Yep.
He got poached.
Well, she kind of quit too, didn't she? Before
yeah.
did he quit prior to her quitting, or
If the ex drummer from Nirvana was like, "Hey, dude," I'd be like, "I'm there.
let's do this. Yeah.
Whatever. You don't have to finish that sentence. Let's go."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got one more. Remember when we opened up for Alana Miles
How could you forget?
at the Sidetrack Cafe, and backstage she was wasted, and she was so pissed off that everyone thought she was Alanis Morissette, and we were like, "We don't think you're Alanis Morissette."
No.
But she was so drunk and so like upset at the world. I'll never forget that.
And she would not let us in the green room.
No, she wouldn't.
because she was big in Germany.
Yeah, she was big.
You remember how big a dicks that band was?
Oh
Her
yeah.
band.
Yep.
Remember they wouldn't let us
Awful.
we couldn't even move on stage, so there was so much gear on there because they wouldn't let us take it off. And I don't know how we ever got that gig. That guy
thought
just
it was
called
through
me out of
Stu.
the
It was
blue.
through Stu.
No, it was that guy. It was the remember that shady guy that ended up getting canned from the Sidetrack? He kind of had like a goatee. He ended up stealing a whole bunch of money from the Sidetrack.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, that guy, I don't know how he got a hold of us, but he was talking to me, and then he called me right out of the blue and said, "Do you want this gig opening up for Alana Miles and Sass Jordan?" I'm like, "Yes, we do." I didn't even have to ask. Yes,
Okay, hold
we'll
on.
play that.
Back up, because that was a Valentine's night show, wasn't
Valentine's
it?
Yeah, it was Valentine's.
Okay, that gig was set up by Stu, from what I remember.
From what I
were in the
remember,
studio.
You're gonna have to ask him now.
Yeah, we were in the studio and we were running out of money, and we were doing some recording, and Stu got a phone call to get Rotting Fruit playing that night, and
Holy shit,
it was
Rotting Fruit.
Valentine's. Yeah, it was Valentine's night, so he wasn't able to do it. So he offered it to us, and we said hell yes, because whatever. And then that's what I remember. And
You
we
might be
we
right.
all
I'm going
missed.
back in my memory.
Yeah.
I can't remember now. That's
I do
foggy now,
remember
'cause
that.
Now that's kind of ringing a bell.
That's one of the few things I remember about those years.
I do remember running out of money, and Stu was just like a little bit fed up, and he was like, "All right, I just called this guy, and you can open up for Alana Miles." And we were like, "Alana Miles?
Let's do this. Well, it was Alana Miles and what's her name?
Sass
Sass
Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
I called her Miss Jordan, and she was so smitten by that. Miss Jordan, how are you tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Make you a believer.
I forgot about that. Sass Jordan.
Yeah.
We never stuck around for that. I never stuck around for either of them.
Well, no, we didn't
I
stay
wasn't in-
long.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I didn't see
I'm
it.
sure like everyone in that building wanted us the fuck out of there.
Yeah, we
Oh,
did
yeah.
not fit at all.
No.
It was like $45 cover charge or
Right.
something that night too. It
Everyone was
like-
there with their dates, and we are just like, all right, this next one is called Corrosion.
And there's Dane jumping up and down on his base cab. And
Yeah.
you were rocking out on top of the base cab.
I don't
because there was
remember
no other room. There was no other room on the stage, so you had to climb up basically.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
we did.
We're gonna have to ask Stu now.
We did put on a show, so
Good. I'm sure. we did.
for what it was, for what it was worth. So
One of the few shows that weren't video recorded too.
Yeah, I
Actually,
wish that
Yeah.
would've been. Yeah.
unfortunately, but
that's okay.
Still in our
got,
memory.
We got a lot. So
yeah, we did.
okay, Dane.
All right. Okay, I'm going to start with one which is super strange, and I have no idea how I started listening to them. Again, I think it was Spotify was like, "You like this," and I was like, "This is fucking hilarious. Maybe I'll give it a shot." And then I wound up
You know me too well, Spotify.
right? Yeah. And then I wound up listening to this song over and over again. And the other night I was just chilling with Otto, my little guy, and I just wanted to watch some like metal. And so I put on Typo Negative. Do you guys remember?
Totally love Typo Negative.
Okay, back in the day, I fucking hated this band. I hated everything about them. I hated the
Why?
I hated the neon
Probably the vocals.
the neon green shtick. I hated the fact that he thought he was Dracula. I hated the fact that there was so much like phaser on that guitar. You couldn't even like hear what they were playing. I hated the fact they had a keyboard and it was like, I thought it was so cheesy.
It was the goth genre kind of deal. You had to have those things.
And it was like during like the grunge thing, right? So I was just like, these guys are posers. But for some reason, I started listening to Typo Negative. I like it.
They got a lot of cool tracks, man.
Yeah, and then I started like reading into Peter Steele and who this dude was, and he was like a tortured. He was just like first of all, he was a giant, and he played the bass, and the bass like I've been kind of going or using these bands that are like bass centric as far as like examples talking about different bands, and they really are. When you listen to their music, he's fucking hitting chords on his bass, and it's good. It's really good. I really like it. He's a solid like songwriter, and like it's got this really kind of creepy kind of like image to it. Like he probably was Dracula. Like
Very dark, black and white.
yeah. And I should have brought, like, they have a song called Hallows Eve, and I should have brought that up on the previous podcast, the Halloween songs. But there you go. I mean, I hated them. I was embarrassed for them. I remember seeing them on Much Music. I was like, these guys are fucking idiots, but they're good. And I've been listening to them, like Mike, I told you, like all week I've just been listening to Typo Negative, like at work.
He didn't tell me what the band
Yeah, he
was. He
wanted.
just told me he was listening to one. No, he kept it under wraps. But I'm like,
That's a good
he's
one.
like, I'm listening to one all week.
And he had like, instead of a guitar strap, it was like a chain. It was just like,
Yep.
it was so bad. But now I respect him. I respect
He played the character.
Definitely. Yeah.
I got to go back now because I cannot remember the last time I even listened to Typo Negative.
Oh,
It's just you go with the whole vampire thing, and most of the time it sounds like he has fake Dracula teeth in.
yeah.
Like it's very kind of throaty, and it's hard to, like, it's almost like he's slobbering over his words because he's got these things jammed over his teeth.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But apparently he was really he was a shy dude, and he had like horrible stage fright, and he had to like drink copious amounts of red wine on stage to like be able to perform and stuff like that. But yeah, another guy who was just like kind of tormented a little bit and passed away like really young. But anyway, that's my guilty pleasure. Typo Negative.
That's a good pick.
Nice. Back to me. I'm going with Toto.
Toto.
Do.
Now, let me just set the stage here though. Like, I liked Africa a long time ago, before Weezer did it, before it all blew
Weezer
up
did
and
Africa?
everything else.
Yeah, they did a cover of
they
it.
did
No way.
A whole bunch of people like pressured them into basically doing it. All their fans basically said you got to do it, and I mean, it basically sounds exactly like, I shouldn't say that because I don't want to, badmouth Toto because their version is better, but it's pretty close to the same. But I liked Africa, but like I don't know what it is about Toto, but they have like that polished sound to the point where it's almost overproduced, and somehow it works with the band. Like, there are just a whole bunch of guys put together of like studio musicians that were studio musicians, so they know how to play, and they put them together in this band. And it's so like, I love Rosanna. Like, I love that
it's a
song.
great
I don't know what
song.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like,
another
and
one
there's
of
so
those
much to
bands that's another one of those bands that you know the name, but it's hard to place the songs for me anyway.
Yeah.
So when you say a certain song, you forget that it was them that did it,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah.
It's just so technical and like so precise, I guess. Like, and sometimes, with different bands, you hear that and it sounds like garbage because it's overproduced and you can hear it, right? But something like that almost feels like it should be overproduced because they are the epitome of overproduced. So, yeah, Toto is on my list. I love throwing on that 1982 album with the sword and the snake on it.
Oh, yeah.
Great, man. Yeah. So there you go. Toto's on.
They can shred. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was into them for a little while too, and like those two songs, Africa and Roseanne, like very like 80s kind of synth. But then they've got other songs where they are like shredding on the guitar, and it's almost like kind of
yeah.
like Queen a little bit. They got that, yeah.
Totally.
They definitely have like
Yeah, no, I totally get
some
that.
range to them, which is interesting because I'll never forget, and I don't know what music shop it was. It was either Lilo's or maybe it was Axe, and they had a giant poster of Toto.
I think that was Axe.
Was it Axe?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was.
And I remember the drummer had a gong behind him.
Yeah.
I remember like that poster was up there, and every time I walked in, I was like, Toto must be good. I should check them out at some point. But I never like really did. But I'll never forget that fucking poster.
That's funny,
Yeah.
hey, how you make that connection. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just, and even when you look at Rosanna as a song, like there is so many different parts to that song that really don't, separately, they're a separate song on their own. But, if you listen to that song again, there is like a honky tonk piano ending. There is a ridiculous keyboard solo in the middle. There's just, and it's very locked into place. You know what I mean? Like it's
Super
very
structured. Yeah.
Yes, totally. And I don't know, maybe I like that a little bit, rather than, I guess, a lot of the bands probably that I listened to, even in the grunge era, there were lots of, it was open.
Free form.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Toto's up on the board.
Okay. Well, my next choice, I don't know if it's weird. I don't know if I want to pick individual songs for this or if I just want to lump it into a genre.
No,
But-
go songs too, man, because I got songs just by themselves too.
Okay, well, I want to go back to early 80s again, a lot of 80s pop. Cyndi Lauper.
Okay.
I want to go back to Cyndi Lauper. And I don't know if it's just because from my childhood there was a spark in there that, you go back and it's a fun feeling or what, but just the main hits, like Girls Just Want to Have Fun. whenever that comes, I'll never put it on, but whenever it comes on the radio or comes on like a Spotify shuffle, I dig it.
I remember it used to be on pop-up video all the time. If
Yep.
you guys ever watch pop-up video.
Yeah. And the video was
yeah.
great. It had, what's his name from WWF?
Yeah.
The manager guy, Big Lou something. The guy that held the elastics in his beard and
The earring in his cheek. That was the fucking weirdest thing to this day I've ever seen. Right?
Thought about that.
yeah, that's a catchy, great song, and the video is very memorable. So
I was at a New York Jets game one time, and I had already tailgated in the parking lot, and already had like, I don't know, quite a few beers by that point, and got into the stadium, and they're like, singing tonight's national anthem is Cyndi Lauper, and I was like, oh, all right, here we go.
yeah,
Is it good?
So I don't remember actually, but you know, the fact that I can say that I saw Cyndi Lauper, even though I don't remember it, is
still counts.
that's good. Yeah,
Wow.
sure it does. Have you listened to her full album though? Like the "She's So Unusual" album?
I have.
Like,
Yeah,
really?
I listened to.
You have, okay.
I've listened to 2 of her albums, and it's not all great, but the songs that pop, I'm entertained. So
There we go. We got a crossover right there. Phil Collins covered "True Colors," Cyndi Lauper. So there you go.
it's like
Full
we
circle.
planned it.
Totally, man. Totally. We should have had a disclaimer before this episode started.
Yeah, we
should probably have a disclaimer before every episode. Actually.
Yeah. I've never met these people before in my life. We have never.
Yeah. Don't know what you're talking.
I don't know.
No. That's good. That's a good one.
All right.
Dan, you're up. I'm going to another beer. I can still hear you though.
Okay. So next up, Def Leppard, man.
Def Leppard.
Fuck.
No.
Def Leppard. Yeah.
Hey, what has 9 arms and sucks?
That's a good one.
Oh
That's a good
man,
one.
yeah,
Not Def Leppard.
not Def Leppard.
Whatever, man. He's over.
Sorry, no judging. No judging.
That's one of the. I mean, like, there's so many reasons to not like, but love Def Leppard. First of all,
That's
listening.
huge. Go, please.
I'm listening.
okay, no. First of all, my dad had pyromania in his car. This is like one of my first memories, and the cover is this building, and there's like like a fire like exploding out the side of it.
Yep.
And at the beginning of like, so he had the tape, and like we'd play it, and I remember one day there was like a fire somewhere, and me and my dad went to go see it, just like something was on fire, and we went to go check it out. And I remember just like looking at Def Leppard, Pyromania, and like watching this whatever on fire, and it was just like the coolest thing I've ever experienced. And then like I grew up and I hated Def Leppard. I remember they used to play like the Labatt's fucking cabin party or whatever.
Yeah.
I've got family that lives in Invermere, and that's the town that's
That they hosted it.
yeah, just outside of Panorama, and so it's like this little ski like it's a mountain, whatever, it's Panorama Mountain. And they went there and they played like the Labatt's cabin party, and apparently people were like throwing like beer bottles at them.
Wow.
And I was like, sounds about right. Def Leppard sucks.
Well, that was definitely the wrong time for them anyway.
That was, yeah, the wrong time for them. But I mean, put on Pyromania, put it like crank it, and you can't tell me that it's not fucking awesome. It's awesome. Like, especially when you're driving. Like, drive.
Yeah.
Find a place where you.
I was gonna say, especially when you're drunk.
And driving.
No, and driving.
It's either or, boys. It's either or. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure drinking would most definitely help, but just find a place where you can just like drive fast And definitely wear sunglasses, like
in your 80s Corvette or Ferrari, your red.
Just pretend you're whatever 80s character and just like embrace it. It's like Def Leppard is great shit, man. I'm talking about Pyromania and Hysteria. I'm like looking at their Wikipedia page right now, and there's like 5 other albums they've got one album called Yeah, and I'm sure it's like piece of shit.
It's probably Yeah.
But
even we're bored with this.
The one after Yeah is called Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. Like, okay, guys. And then 2015, they have an album called Def Leppard, and I bet you that's when they like got back to their roots. But yeah,
Ran out of ideas.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Pyromania, like that album kicks ass. And if you can find some like fluorescent whatever to wear and some big ass fucking Oakleys, just put it on and like. That's my guilty pleasure for sure.
So what switched you from hating Def Leppard to loving Def Leppard?
I think I got old, Mike. I just realized I'm not cool anymore, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I listen to.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I can listen to the like La La Land soundtrack and be completely fine with myself.
Sitting in your dad's sweater and your gator, or what are those, Crocs, and your or your dad New Balance shoes and your dad's sweater, and
I don't give a fuck. Exactly. Put on Def Lep and it's on, man. I feel like $1,000,000.
Yeah.
I guess my problem with Def Leppard is that every song sounds the same.
What? No. When was the last time you listened to Def? Are you kidding me?
A while. I'll be honest. It's been a while because I don't like it. But like I said, I'm gonna give these a shot. I'm gonna go Typo Negative. I'm gonna go Alanis. I'm gonna go Def Leppard now.
You know what? I'm just like looking at all of our, like, so far you just ran down that list, and I think every single one of those you could listen to. Like, if someone were to play the song within 2 seconds, you would know who it was. Like,
definitely.
Each one of these picks, they have such a distinct sound to them, and maybe that's why every Def Leppard song sounds the same, because you can't mistake a Def Leppard song for anything else, right? It just like.
Did the drummer have his arm for this album?
For Pyromania? I think he did.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's when it starts going downhill.
As soon as the arm leaves.
Yeah. No, I'm not interested anymore.
No, man. I think fuck, I don't know. But I mean, he pulled it off. Like,
hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to knock him. He's got way more money than I do. He's got way more hits than I do. He's got, good on him. He did a great job with, the hand that he was dealt. Don't get me wrong. I just can't help it. It's just out there. It's low hanging fruit. I got to take it sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. But shit, that's like, how can you not like a fucking 80s rock drummer who just, after rolling his vet, drinking and driving, just normally, like, you put the sticks down after you lose an arm, but no.
Especially when you're like in the height of your popularity,
right?
Too, right? Like, it's not like he did this in 2015 and they were like, yeah, okay, we'll just get somebody else, thanks.
Yeah.
But now, they were hot when it happened, so I can't even imagine what the band must have been like when
they were probably like, "You're fired, call, Jimmy," right? And he's like, "No way, man! I can get another pedal. We'll make this
Still
work."
Doing this,
I can do this.
I can do this. They got technology. They got technology now. I can do it.
Yeah,
we can make this work.
But even technology in the '80s to do it too, right? Like now, you'd be like, "Yeah, okay," but in the '80s, that's
Thank God for drum machines.
Heck yeah,
yeah.
Thank Phil Collins.
Yep.
Back to me, yeah?
Back to you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to hit you guys with another 90s pop. I'm going to go right in that same time, Mike, as Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
I'm going to go 90s pop on you. I'm going to go late 90s pop.
Gross. The best.
Yeah, I know. I know. And I'm going to hit you with Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray.
Man. There's so much to hate about that band.
I don't know what it is, man. I'm all right with those tunes. I'm okay with,
I'm okay with the Sugar Ray too. Yep.
Are you okay? Okay,
I am,
good,
and
thank you.
and I think the only reason why I am is not so much for the radio stuff, but they had another album that was much more on the heavy side,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they also had this big drinking party inside to them too. So they did have a side cool factor
Mark
at the
McGrath,
time,
right?
and then
Is that his name?
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
So at the same time, they had this one side of them that was party and heavy and kind of cool, and then they got a couple poppy hits, and then just rolled with it. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'm all right with it. I was okay with the videos. I liked that whole kind of scene in the late 90s of that junky pop music. I don't know what it was, but there was lots of it, right?
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. When I think of those songs and even the hits, I'm okay with the hits.
Yeah.
I won't change them when they come on. Like
now, did you like them at the time, or is this
not
been a
really,
recent-
not really.
Yeah.
You didn't know. It's not like I've gone back to it and being like, yeah, let's listen to Sugar Ray. It kind of comes on every once in a while, but it's not a Saturday night pick,
Yeah.
to throw on. And I don't have it on vinyl too or anything like that, right? Like,
Right.
I don't know what it is, but this is why it's guilty pleasure, right? This
Yep.
is, you're not quite sure why you like it, but something about it you're okay with, right? Maybe I find a lot of this too, so far that we're talking about, we say that we hated it at the beginning, but then we liked it later.
Right.
So,
Okay, what is that?
it's a little bit of a theme.
What
I don't know. I don't know why that is. Like, I think that it's probably because you don't want to admit it at the time that maybe you did like it deep down, but then when you search your feelings and realize that you don't really care what anybody thinks about you anymore at age 40, you're like,
Yeah, whatever. I like it. I don't care who says.
yeah,
No,
yeah, exactly, right? I'll go on a podcast and talk about how I like Sugar Ray. I don't give a fuck. I'm wearing Crocs and listening to Pyromania.
Yep. Don't even care.
well said.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, this would be the shittiest festival of all these bands got together and played this.
It's like the Labatt Cabin party 2020. All right.
Oh,
We'd be the old bearded dudes in the front row still enjoying it.
just loving it. How come you guys don't like this?
Damn kids.
Yeah. Speaking of the cabin party, though, before I go on to Mike's pick there, have you been to Panorama lately,
No.
Dane?
Not in a very.
It is huge.
Is it huge?
Oh, the last time I was there, like a long time ago, it was tiny, like you said.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like,
I remember when
not
it was
much
nothing.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, and now there's just cabins upon cabins, and like it's all kind of just blown up into this like big kind of Whistler Village almost. It's insane.
Oh man, that's the thing. I mean, like people are,
Yep.
cashing out in let's just be real here, Vancouver, and yeah, they've got a couple mil to spend wherever they want, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there in a while. Like I said, I've got family there. I used to go there as a kid, and it was just like a little tiny mountain town in Vermeer, and then like about a 20-minute drive up to Panorama, and
20 minutes on no gas. You remember that trip?
Shit, yeah. On our way to George Washington. And we were on E. This is like what you do in your 20s, right? Like, let's drive a van up a mountain road on E. And if we make it, then we can just put it in neutral and drive down and get gas tomorrow morning.
And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. But it was on E going up top there. And we only didn't fill up because there wasn't anything. We drove all the way from Edmonton to Panorama. And Invermere was closed. And we're like, let's just see if we can make it up the hill. And we did. And we stayed the night. And it was just like fumes coasting in there. Through to neutral all the way down, coasted down. It was a dream.
Fucking, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
No, it was a good time. Good time.
Oh, speaking of that trip, and I still tell this story to this day, probably one of the scariest moments of my entire life was
No question.
coming back from fucking.
The funny thing is, just before you tell this story, Dane, is that there's two parts to this story. There's my side of it, and then there's Dane's side of it.
Okay. So we are.
Who's going to fact check the two?
Oh, it's real. It's real. But what he experienced is different from what I experienced.
Oh, yeah. So we're. I'm just gonna rewind it back. Like we are coasting down the mountain road, and we finally get some gas, and then we head on south to Washington State, and I think we like pull into Spokane, and we see like this bikini car wash, and we're like, yep, we're going to pull over here. And we ask these girls if they have any weed. And sure enough, like we get a whole bunch of weed from them. We're like, this is great. So we wind up going to like the Dave Matthews concert in the Gorge. It was like super fun. I remember we like made ganja butter for some reason. I think because they had like security walking around like smelling for weed. So we were just like, we make ganja butter. We wound up we had a whole bunch after the show, and this was like a camp over type of thing. So we spend a couple days, and then we're all like haggard and we're driving back, and we just like forget that we have to cross the fucking Canada-American border.
No, man, we remembered. We had a plan.
Oh yeah,
we had a plan. You didn't know what the plan was because you were asleep.
No, I was totally awake. The plan was put the weed in a fucking hamburger and then rewrap it and then put the hamburger back in the bag, and like no one will know.
That's right.
And like they're not gonna fucking check anyway. And we're like,
stoner logic.
Yeah, that's genius. Mm-hmm. So we fucking
brilliant.
We go to the border crossing. We get the fucking wave. Like the guy's like waving us over, and I'm like
to the side.
Fuck. And they start pulling the van apart, and I'm like, we're fucked. And Mike takes the brown bag out of the van, couldn't look more guilty, and walks over. They have a garbage can at the fucking like border patrol checkpoint for some reason, and just like drops like nonchalant, drops this brown bag into the garbage can and walks back to the van. And I'm like, there is no way they didn't see that. And they didn't. And then we put everything back in the van and we kept on driving and we made it. It was like,
you can thank me now.
Holy fuck. And it wasn't like a small amount of weed. It was like a lot of weed.
Here, man, eat this.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man, eat this too. Hey, man, I got some pills. You eat these too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, it wasn't too surprising that they gave us a wave. I mean, we pulled in with the Voyager SE, 1990 Voyager SE, which was, Dane was sleeping in the back. Kevin and I had no shirts on, hadn't shaved in a few days. We had beer and Camel cigarettes in the back, and the Camel cigarettes we got for free actually at the show. Bless the United States. And and then Dane's exactly right. And then they said, come on over and we want to search the vehicle. So Kevin and I just had like a conversation on the way to that drive, and we're like, are we getting rid of the weed? Yeah, we're getting rid of the weed. Just dump it in the garbage can. Just dump it there. But I didn't think that you knew. I thought this entire time, Dane, that you didn't know that I dropped it in there, and you were in the van, and I thought you thought that the weed was still in there, and you were shitting your pants because you thought they were just
No. I remember standing outside of the van because they were like, you stand here and you don't go anywhere. And they're like literally ripping the van apart, and I see you walk in front of my vision. I'm like, why are they not telling Mike to stand right here? And then you just like drop a fucking bag of whatever into the garbage.
Wendy's.
Yeah, it was
Wendy's.
Like Wendy's. And I'm like, what is he doing? And then you just walk back, and then like it was just like the craziest thing. And
it was over.
It was like
it was all over. They didn't care.
They didn't care. So
no. And then I thought I was freaked out for like weeks after that. Are they gonna find me? Are they gonna come and find us? Are they gonna like check the video and then come and find our license plate? Like
SWAT
I was
team
freaking
at
out for a
your
while.
door.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and like the thing is like I'm just like,
It's a good story. It's a good story.
It's definitely a good story, but holy fuck, man. I still tell that story.
Oh, we were idiots. That's an idiotic move. I would absolutely never do that again, ever in my life. Like, and that's probably because I'm old, but there's no way that I would even try that now. Not even close.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
You know what's funny though? On the way down, we did have a little bit of weed before we even got to the border, remember? And I made you throw out the Altoid case because I didn't even want like the smell of the Altoid case to like set him off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
You're
then
pulling that on the way back.
oh yeah, I didn't care after that. I don't know what it was. I'm an
We're
idiot.
almost in Canada.
Yeah. It was Kev's fault too.
Stupid
blame him
Kev.
too.
Oh, it was
Stupid
Yeah.
Kev.
all of our faults. And like, this is
Yeah.
like the early 2000s when weed was basically meth. And like,
Yep.
right.
Kids nowadays will never know the
struggle,
shady
man.
business you had to do to get weed.
The struggle.
Yeah. Well,
What do you-
don't
what do you
put
mean?
this on.
What do you mean you can't
Don't
just
put this
buy it
on,
at a
Mike.
store?
We're gonna. Yeah, exactly. Legally, government Justin
Yeah.
weed.
Yeah. What do you mean we can't just go to the 7-Eleven buy weed?
Yeah. No. We had to fucking,
No,
Hide it
I
in
didn't have that
hamburgers.
move,
The wild, wild west.
yeah.
but yeah,
Shady business.
should have just ate that whole burger right then and there.
You should have, man.
Match it all on my face right there. Eat
Why
it
waste
all.
it? Why waste it?
Yeah.
I remembered it was just like a fucking one of those shows, like Border Patrol. And I was like, we are fucked. We are so fucked. And then I see you walk anyway. Told the story 3 times already,
Yeah.
but it was like the craziest thing I've
No, it's
ever
it's a
seen in my
freaky
life.
experience.
And there was like a whole team of guys like ripping the van apart. Like I'm sure there was dogs close by. No one even clued in. Like, oh, this kid's just throwing a fucking bag of something in the garbage. And walk.
Give me the Oscar of the year right there. I sold it, man. I don't know what it is.
And why did they have a garbage can there?
I don't know.
I was like,
for my Wendy's.
Yep. Smooth criminal.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Heck yeah. Anyways,
Anyway, where were we?
Mike, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna take a bit of an offshoot from your Sugar Ray, and I'm gonna go with probably if not one of the most hated bands in metal at the time. I'm gonna go with Limp Biscuit.
Gonna durst you, motherfucker.
I'm gonna durst you right there. Now, this is one of those bands that I've always liked, even from the start. So, it's a guilty pleasure due to shame and shunning of others, I guess.
Wait a second. You like the band, but you shunned others for liking it? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
others shunned me
Oh,
into.
okay.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing. Yeah, I shunned others. This is awesome, but you
You can't like them.
You can't like them. They're mine. No, it's it was just one of those bands that everyone in metal, like proper metal, always hated the whole rap rock thing, and they were top of the target list there because they stood out with Fred Durst and his over the top unique whatever sound that was, and his red cap, and they were just they were an easy target. And from the start, I always liked them. And it comes down with the Sugar Ray link is they toured a lot together, and there's one of their songs that always stood out where Fred's talking about one of the lines is Sugar Ray taught me all about drinking. Kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sugar
There you
Ray
go.
taught,
See, it's all connected.
Sugar Ray taught me life was all about drinking was the line. So that one always stuck. So that was my other that's my next
I'm right there.
choice here.
I'm right there with you, man. Like I liked them from the beginning. I always thought Wes Borland was an interesting cat. And did you ever get into
Brilliant.
Blacklight Burns?
I did, man. Their first album was so good.
It was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's super artistic, and I like how he writes his songs not in a standard form, but it's almost he's an artist, like a painter and sketcher as well, and I see in his writing how he sketches his writing kind of thing. He'll put some bits and pieces here and take some bits and pieces out there, but he approaches the guitar at a a different angle than anyone else, like a different groove, he's got some interesting rhythmic tapping things that no one ever did, or playing his guitar like a slap bass or that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I always dug that.
Yeah.
I kind of always felt, though, to be honest, that Wes Borland was too good for that band.
Oh, for sure. But
Like it, you know what I mean? Like,
But
I
you
don't
look
know.
at John Otto as a drummer.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic drummer. He still's good. You know, there's not anything that he did that you could say he was a slouch on drums.
Whatever happened to DJ Lethal? Whatever happened to
man.
that cat?
No, he's probably
Yeah, no,
he's
for real.
He's still around doing stuff though, because he did he went, didn't he go back to a band? He reformed with the guys from House of Pain in a rap group called La Coca Nostra in
Oh,
the
really? I didn't know
early 2000s. Yeah, if you get a chance to check their stuff out, man, it's really good. It's yeah, it's solid. So,
but I know for
I'm with you on the Limp Biscuit though too. I like
Yeah.
it too. I remember I was so sick on Woodstock '99.
yep.
And I think my dad felt bad for me, so he got me the entire pay-per-view weekend.
Oh,
of
yes.
Woodstock '99, and I
Yeah.
just laid on the couch all weekend, man, and taped and watched all of Woodstock '99. And I remember Limp Bizkit's performance.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. Like, there's
The
so many of those
Riot and-
performances. Yeah. And I was like, these guys are still kind of cool, man. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but yeah.
a good friend of mine that was also living in Eindhoven at the time when I was there, we would go see bands like Sepultura came to town and we saw them. And there was like one dude left from the original band, and we saw Fu Manchu, and that was like fun, but they were old, and like he was like legit complaining about his knee during the show. And so we would always like just go to these random, like the Melvins came, and that was great too, but we would like, you know, we would go and see some of these old bands that would like come to Europe and just see what they could do with like a European crowd. And I remember Limp Bizkit came to town, and I was like, Jose, we gotta go. And he was like, no, man, that's where I draw the line. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is going to be so much fun. No. And
Be a great
and
show,
he just
even if
like
you hate 'em.
would not go. He just like drew the line at Limp Bizkit. Some people hate him. I think you can classify them with like Nickelback. Like, you take a look
For the time, definitely.
yeah, you could take a look at how many fucking albums Limp Bizkit sold. I think it's like 50 million. Like something.
They were top of the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
huge, but no one will admit that they liked them or still like them. Same with Nickelback. It's, you know, you can go anywhere in the world, any bar in the world, and you'll hear Nickelback. It's crazy, but no one will admit that they like them.
Well, it's different too, because you look at Nickelback and people that aren't musicians love them. People that are musicians hate them.
Really?
And I think that's the biggest divide
Yeah.
for the most part. And it's probably the same thing with Limp Bizkit, where you think the true metal fans that dedicate their lives to it for 20 years prior to it, and then Limp Bizkit comes out and it's called quote unquote metal for the time. Of course, you're going to hate everything about it because it's not, it's not what you're used to.
Yeah.
Like, it's too different. And then they take it to the top of the stratosphere where, they're the biggest band in new metal at the time.
And then that just dates them, unfortunately.
Exactly.
And then it was like,
but even their newer stuff. I mean, you look. I don't know when did Golden Cobra come out? Even that was it wasn't a great album, but it was a fun offering.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Nickelback, Dane? Do you? I honestly, to be perfectly honest, I cannot name you any songs past like How You Remind Me, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I can name you another song legitimately. Like, I'm being serious. I don't know if I know another one. I remember one about like domestic violence and like fighting in the bed in the living room and stuff like that, but I don't remember. I don't know if I can name you another one.
Yeah. Funny enough, what happened? I think there was a meme that me and Kira saw online, and it was just like, so there's that that song, like, look at this photograph.
Oh yeah.
That
And
one. Yeah,
someone
I know that
had
one,
like,
yeah.
we were just like, I don't know where we saw this meme, but it was like someone had edited the video. So it was like him holding a graph and it was like, look at this graph. We thought it was super funny. And so we're like, I wonder, do you remember that video? Like, I think Wayne Gretzky's in that video. Let's go check it out. And we did. And then
I don't remember that.
No. I think it's I Want to Be a Rock Star. Anyway, we got into like a Nickelback like black hole, and we are just like, check out this video. This video is fucking ridiculous. But it was like 2 hours later, we were just like cooking dinner and drinking some beers and listening to Nickelback. And like, if it's in the background, it's fine. Like, if you don't know you're listening to Nickelback, again, like you could be in any bar in the world and it's playing because it just sort of blends in. It could be any fucking.
It's easy to ignore.
Yeah.
It's the rock formula that's easy to ignore.
Yeah, and it's catchy as fuck. Every song is just like catchy as fuck. And until you clue in, you're like, oh, that's Nickelback. And then everyone's brow starts to like.
Yeah.
I went to that Nickelback show.
Yeah. We went
With Danko.
With Danko Jones. Yeah, Danko
And
Jones
live,
opened
wasn't
up. Yeah, and Danko Jones was smacking himself in the face with a microphone.
Oh, wow.
And nobody was there. Nobody was in Rexall yet, right? Like, it was just like Nicole and I just sitting there loving it. And I remember these people behind me were like, they had the Nickelback shirts on. They're like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, fuck me. I was like, do the half turn. Like, what are you talking about? But I mean, such a strange bill, right? Like, live Danko Jones and Nickelback. Like, what is that? But anyways, we saw both those bands, and then we were like, I don't think we can. I think actually we had an agreement before that we were not going to be sticking around for that. So I don't know what it was. Like, I walked out of that. I walked out of Foo Fighters. Like, I don't know.
The same people that like Nickelback are the same people that like Garth Brooks. It's the same kind of fans.
Dude, I don't know where you're
Farting
getting
on
that
balls.
correlation from.
Farting on balls.
But wait, before we head off into the weeds here, Mike, you were at that Headstone show where Nickelback opened up, right?
Yeah.
And they were like basically unknown because this was at Nate. Where was this?
Yeah, like Ook-Fest. Yeah.
They were all right. It was until like it was when that first hit.
Yeah, that first
To the
album that
bottom,
like
whatever that song was. And you heard it every single day, 100 times a day. Then you were like, these fucking guys are stupid. But before that, like, I remember we were like, who are these guys? Like, they seem to be, like, not bad.
Well, I mean, the Headstones got him to open up,
Yeah.
right? Like that. Obviously, Hugh Dillon liked him, so he, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do it, And like I said before, even during that Janet Jackson show, when you leave a show early, there's nothing like it. It's fantastic, right? Like, you have for a guy that doesn't like crowds that much. I love leaving a concert early because nobody's
Parking issues, no.
Yeah,
Traffic,
like
yeah.
I don't have to deal with anybody, right? So it's awesome. But honestly, that's the only like Nickelback, Foo Fighters, and Janet Jackson. That's the only times I've ever walked out of a show.
What was wrong with the Foo Fighters?
I don't know. I didn't want to see him, man. And I saw Royal Blood open up for them at Rexall.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, we went just for Royal Blood. And then we were like, okay. And I was with Nicole and my other guy that I used to go with all these concerts with. I used to work with Colin.
Yeah. Episode 1.
And episode 1. Yeah. So we were like, I don't know. Like, do you want to stay? And he's like, no. And that was the one where he broke his leg. And Nicole's like, I can't stay here. Like, he should have canceled the show. Like,
That still bothers me, dude.
So I was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm like, are you cool? Yeah, let's go. And then
Even with a broken leg, he was still able to rock out the entire tour instead of it being a quitter and saying, "Oh, I've got a runny nose. I got to cancel the tour." He gets out there with his broken leg and he rocks it.
I want to see him running around the stage and like having a gay old time, except he's sitting on a throne and playing tunes. I don't know.
He's still an entertaining character is the thing, man. He's still like going back to our previous podcast with STP, he has that charisma and that entertainment value that even if he's still sitting in a throne, he's still able to rock a giant stadium.
Yeah. He can't sing worth a fucking dime, right? Like,
I don't know. I've never seen him live.
Yeah.
Actually, I have. I saw him at Edge Fest, and all he did was burp into the mic pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. And then I was like, I don't know.
Foo Fighters is...
But to be perfectly honest, I mean, I'm not a huge...
Yeah.
I've never been a huge Foo Fighters fan. Like, nothing against them, nothing against anyone likes them. I've never really...
I found a video online, and it's them in just like a jam space, and they just run through one of the albums. It's fucking good. Like, they're just one of those bands where it's like, maybe you just have to be in the mood for them. But yeah, I mean... Yeah.
Well, even that Dave Grohl thing, right? Like that whole, like, I'm going to play every song or every instrument on this song, right? And it's like a 14-minute song.
That was awesome.
So cool. So cool, right? Like, I'm not knocking Dave Grohl, right? Like, cool cat, obviously got a great pass, but I don't know. Just the Foo Fighters songs are a little bit too cookie cutter, I guess, for me. I don't know. It just doesn't do much for me. But
yeah, I'm definitely more of a Grohl fan than a Foo Fighters fan. Their first album I thought was, and still think
good,
is amazing. But
you mean his first album?
His first album, yes.
Yeah,
was it still holds very strong for me, even if the lyrics don't make any sense and they're just kind of gibberish. And it's still coffee fueled brutality for every song. Yeah, it's still fun.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I like that first album for sure. But like Color and the Shape, it was kind of like, I like Monkey Wrench,
that album.
But
Monkey Wrench is fun.
Here comes
it's
my
a fun song.
hero.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh, that's an automatic switch for me. I don't
Really?
like that song.
Oh,
it's
man,
a
that's
great
fun.
song. Yeah. Well,
That's a auto switch for me.
but you can't listen to the hits, Mike. Right?
I don't like them. I don't know what
ever.
it is.
If it's on the radio,
I
like you
don't-
just skip, like you just can't do it.
No, I don't listen to the radio though either, right? Like
I've just dated
I don't
myself big fucking time. Like, what do you mean you don't listen to the radio?
What's on the radio?
And I'm not trying to be a hipster or be like an outsider, but like I don't know. Even when it's in concert, I'm like, oh god, like
This was twisted mustache and vinyl stash guy, vinyl record
yeah,
guy.
yeah. No,
I
no
don't want to
hipster
be. I don't want to be a hipster, but
about this particular topic. I meant. Don't make me bring out my shotgun, Mike.
Jesus
Busted.
Christ, that's scary.
it's a shoddy. It's not a Lapua. You couldn't hit me from here.
True.
Whoa.
I don't know what it is. I'm not a huge hits guy, but it's all good. It's all good. Where are we at? Who's up? Who's up now? What's
Dane's up.
Wait, can I refresh my
Dane's
drink?
up.
Because I know I'm going to take some
Yes.
heat for this.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, go for it. Are we pausing or are we? What
Let's
do you
just
want to
keep
do?
going. We'll just.
All right, I'll be back.
We'll just carry on.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. Well, when you're talking, when you're gone, I cracked. Have you cracked another one, Mike?
I did, yes.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell the listeners what you're drinking now?
Okay, today, this time I've got an Okanagan Spring Ghost Trail Dark Lager. Now, I've had this before, probably, I don't know, 4 podcasts ago, and it's still awesome, I think. So
I should have drank that on the Halloween cast.
I should have. Now going
Yep.
back, I was too much into my candies and my concussion. So
Oh yeah, candies and concussion. That is the 2 C's.
and my early '90s Pepsi or late '80s Pepsi. So
That's right.
I still think I made a good call with that one. So it's delicious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Vernon's own
Yep.
Okanagan Spring. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It doesn't come in a 12-pack. I can only find it in 6-pack, and I don't know how long they're going to continue it. I've only seen it off and on for the past 2 months, 3 months now. So hopefully they
And
carry
what-
it
is
on.
it
It's
a-
really good.
Sorry, is it a lager?
It's a dark lager. It's only a 5. It's only a 5%, but it's got a very strong kind of flavor to it, which is really cool. So
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of a dark lager.
if you get a chance, check it out.
Yeah. And is it like just a couple run, like it's a short run kind of thing?
I'm hoping it's not, but like I said, I've only found it in the 6-packs, and I've only seen it for the past couple months. So hopefully they carry it on. 'Cause I don't think it's like one of their winter ale limited runs kind of thing. But fingers crossed. But I think this is probably my favorite that they've released so far. So
I want to try that. I'm on the same thing now. I'm on the Dead Frog, but now I'm on the Mandarin Orange.
Ooh.
Yeah, Mandarin Orange Kettle Sour, a juicy bright amber ale with a splash of fresh orange and crisp malt base, and a refreshing sour finish.
Sours.
I can't do the fruity thing, and it was weird too because a couple podcasts ago it was some sort of a fruit vodka something. What was that called? What were those called?
Neutral. Neutral.
Yeah. So I had never heard of them prior to that podcast, seeing you have it. So I thought, I'm going to give it a go. Awful. Yeah. Awful.
Didn't like it, eh?
Oh, it was so bad.
Is it like a White Claw? Like what's it?
Oh, I can't even describe it. It was so bad.
It's 100 calories, and it's
shit
like
this
no
bubbly.
bloating.
It's like this bubbly tonic water, and I fucking hate tonic
water.
And it's some sort of tonic and light flavoring of oranges or some
it's
sort
like
of
a
fruity
White Claw thing.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So disappointed. I choked it down, but it was awful.
That's the stuff that I drink after the beer is gone, though, right?
I paid for it. I wasn't going to waste it, but man, that was bad.
Yeah. To each his own, just like
to each
Nickelback.
a zone.
To each his own.
That's right.
Okay.
Oh,
like
man.
the
We should do a
Smalls.
Smalls episode.
Write it down.
Calling it now.
I was listening to the podcast during work the other day, and there was, I think it was during the lyrics episode, and we are talking about like murders in music or something like that, and we were all like, "That's an episode for sure." I think we were talking.
Write it down.
Yeah,
Murders in music.
it sounds horrible. Like now, it's coming out of my mouth. I'm hearing myself say it, but. But
So, something to do with Courtney Love. And
yeah, that was it. It was like we were talking about, I don't know what it was, but Mike, automatically you're like, yeah, no, what were we talking about? Like the suicide note or something like that? And you were like, yeah, fucking Courtney wrote that, and we're all like, what?
I was forged. Yeah.
What did you just say? Fucking,
Exactly.
you know the truth.
You know the truth.
Oh, this would be a good podcast, but okay.
We will return to that. Write it down.
I'm ready to fight you guys because this has been a bone of contention for many a podcast episodes.
Okay, let's do it. Fists up.
I brought my guns. And I've been thinking about how to explain this to you guys because I really think you're missing out on some like good old time.
Here we go.
Music.
Here we go.
All right, Luke Combs. I'm bringing it, and I know neither of you guys have even given him a chance.
I couldn't name one song, and I'm so glad you didn't say Garth Brooks.
And like, wait 1 second.
Or Chris. What was his other name? Chris
Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
no.
I'm glad you didn't say those two.
No. But I'm coming at you with these two right now. Check out Chris Stapleton's new album. All right. And like Luke Combs, he is poppy country. But the reason why, and I've been really thinking about this because like you guys are my buddies, and when you make fun of me, it hurts, and I just want to know why.
It cuts deep.
It cuts deep, and like I was like, so why do I like country so much? My friends think this is stupid. Why? How do I explain to them that country is so good? Okay, let's start with a steel guitar.
Lap steel.
Awesome.
Love lap steel, yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
So
Like you're talking like what, national steel guitar, or are you talking like a lap steel guitar?
Lap steel.
yeah,
Yeah.
lap steel for sure.
Okay. Love it.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. When you take a look at a musician like Luke Combs, he has a solid band behind him. Really good. And it frames out the steel guitar in such a way that it's not gimmicky, it's not overdone. It feels good. It's just really nice. Okay, there's that. There's the fact that they got guitar solos, man. Like there's some really decent guitar solos. And it's not like, like guitar solos done. Like you've heard them all at this point, right? Like you've heard every kind of style. Guitar solos are something that a lot of bands are like, we don't do those anymore. But
Right.
like you got a guy on a fucking Telecaster with like a amazing sound. You really hear the quality of like the instruments that they're playing. The production is usually not overdone. It sounds good. It's, it might be like a genre of music, which a lot of people laugh at, but the production value alone, and to be able to pick out some of these instruments that I hold near and dear to my heart, like old school Fender guitars, steel guitars, and then you got a guy singing about beer. I mean, like, what's not to like about that?
Okay, so
wait. So that's Luke Combs.
Okay.
Chris Stapleton just came out with a new album, and it is awesome. And like, I'm not going to really go off on a tangent on that, but like, seriously, you guys, give that a shot. I mean, there's more to life than just fucking metal. And,
no, there isn't. But
Phil Collins. All right.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah. Say it.
Okay.
I'm getting another beer. I can hear you though.
Okay. On most of that, I wholeheartedly agree with you. For musicianship, hell yeah, awesome. For just all-round talent, for production, it's fantastic. The problem I have with it is the songwriting and the lyrics and the main structure of it. When you take country, which for the most part I dig. I like country. The problem I have is pop country, where it's, you turn it on and it's honky tonk badonkadonk, and it's all this really shitty, nothing, worthless, the vocal side, I can't pick out, and I know every genre says, oh, they all sound the same, but I really can't pick out a different, in the pop country world, a singer that sounds different than another singer. Like you go back to old country and, most of those guys sound different. You can tell Willie Nelson is different from Johnny Cash. You can tell, right? And the song writing and the song structure was always interesting. Even if it was simple, it was always interesting. And now that you put this super catchy, poppy, every song is about partying, drinking beers with my friends, and that sort of thing, I can't subscribe to that. But the talent of the guitar, the talent of all the musicians, the guitar solos, the drummers, every bit and piece of that, the recording, the production, the sound quality is all great. But it comes down to there's nothing to it. Like it's just too much of a throwaway accessory, like this year's pair of shoes, or this fancy bracelet, or the sunglasses someone has to have this year. Like there's nothing to it that keeps you coming back. And I do love country, and I I love Hank Williams stuff, and I like the old stuff, even back to I'm a huge Hank 3 fan, and his stuff is pure country with good songs, with killer guitar, killer banjo work. Like the musicians that he works with are unreal,
right?
And I just can't subscribe to that thing. And like, once again, I agree with you on everything other than the writing and the poppy nothing song structure that just pump out these songs because they're all going to sound the same, right?
Yeah, and there is a lot of that, and like I've gotten to the point where I don't even mind some of that stuff. But I think in particular Luke Combs, he even has a song about this, right? Like what's wrong with like country today and stuff like that.
Right.
I think he's one of the he's not even an outlier. He's just that good that he can call people out, and it's done in a way which is like, it's not like a rapper beef kind of thing, but he's just saying like what happened to all of like the Willies and the Whalens, like what happened to country, and like
Yeah.
So I think that's where that kind of solidified my interest and I guess love for country as far as like exploring another genre of music. And I've been hearing a little bit again, like Chris Stapleton here and there, like touching like a little bit into bluegrass, but not. Maybe that's not it. I don't really know.
Some bluegrass is cool too.
Some bluegrass is cool, but just I think there's some really good musicians within that genre, and it's unfortunate that there's like the stuff which is like really really shitty, and like there's a lot like right now there's a lot of like crossover between like hip hop and country, and it's just like
that's what sells. Man.
That's what sells, and
I can't do it.
Yeah, and like I totally agree with you, but I think as far as like a guilty pleasure, I like I was raised on Willie, like most definitely, like Stardust. I don't know how many times I've heard that album. And Dwight Yoakam, again, Hillbilly Deluxe. I don't know how many times I've heard that album.
Yeah, I got that on vinyl, man.
Oh fuck, so good, right? And like that's, I think there's artists that are like relevant now that are really sort of like reaching back and getting into like good old honky tonk, like steel guitars and fucking tellies and just like real smart fun lyrics about something that I don't have to think too hard about, and I think that's what I really dig about it. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, if they can make it catchy and entertaining without being super drowned in the kind of throwaway pop, then I can dig it. But it's just hard.
I gave Luke Combs a try. When you told me about Luke Combs, I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a solid go. And maybe I wasn't listening to the right songs, but I lasted a couple seconds on each, and I was like, yeah, this sounds like the rest of the stuff I've tried in country, like as far as like new country goes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm with you guys. Like same thing. Like I like the outlaw country, right? Like I like that stuff. I can listen to that. I've got lots of that stuff on vinyl.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. Like I just can't do and there's lots of 90s country that like, we grew up on or we listened to at parties and stuff, and it's a lot of garbage, but it brings back a lot of memories at the same time, right? But I don't know, it just feels like I kind of I agree with you, Mike, that I couldn't name you the difference between Kenny Chesney and what's his
Kenny
like
Kenny Chesney, man.
Who's the guy that plays the guitar there too? Really good. He's all right. Keith Urban, that guy. Like I can't tell you the difference between those songs, right? And I guess it's funny because we talked about lyrics before in a previous episode, and I think the lyrics are super driven in the country world, right? Like if you don't, you're talking about knowing about them talking about beer and stuff like that, but like in a rock song, it won't mean as much. You know what I mean? Like the lyrics won't mean as much to you as they do in a country, because that's what they have to hang the hat on, right? Like they have to hang their hat on the lyrics because the music is doing the same thing pretty much every time.
It's pretty simple.
Right?
It's the same couple chords,
Fair
just
enough,
like blues.
Yeah.
So you're like, I got
depth to it.
Yeah. So, whereas another band where you're like, I'm going to just focus on the guitar because the guitar work is unbelievable in this song, and I'm not going to really care about the lyrics. Like it's just different. I guess it's in the different genre of music, but I don't know. I guess I don't knock it, but I just can't understand how to like it. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand. Like I give it an honest shake, and I can't find where I fit in on that. Be like a Luke Combs or whatever, right? And I've given Chris Stapleton a chance too. Like I gave that one of those albums a shot, and I was like, okay. And don't get me wrong, Chris Stapleton is actually one of the better ones I listened to, but not something I can throw on. But who knows? Maybe I'll try this new album and I'll give it a go, right? But it just doesn't show up on my. When I think about listening to something new, I don't be like, I'm going to check out some country. Like,
well, it comes down to the subgenre where the big hits, it's like bro country, and you look at bro rock like on Nickelback. You look at bro metal where it's like Five Finger Death Punch. It's the same kind of thing where they're all selling the same Monster energy drinks or Rockstar energy drinks and wearing the tap out stuff. And I got my cowboy hat, my tap out, and my, affliction, and that kind, like it just for the most part, yes. And I know there's a lot of other country artists that don't sit in that, but the majority of newer pop country does. And once again, I can never knock the musicianship because the backup bands are always awesome, but there's just nothing to the music. It's just as a bookmark here, let's just maybe a best opening bands episode 2, or write it down.
Worst opening bands too.
Write it down.
Man.
Yeah. Put that down as one of them, maybe too.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Okay. I think we're like beating a dead horse here, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. All right. Core Blend.
Yeah. Outlaw country, man. Love it. Good stuff. And you know what? I saw that Smalls documentary. I don't know if you guys watched that. Nicole and I went and saw it in The Princess. And
oh, wow.
Corb had a great line in it. He talked about, because they asked him about how can you go from, being a bass player in the Smalls to playing, country music. And he's like, it's like playing sports. He's like, it's like playing football and playing hockey. He's like, I can play both. He's like, I can do both, but why not? And I was like, that's kind of a good way to look at it. Like, from that perspective, you can do whatever you want. Doesn't matter. But Corb's great. And I was supposed to see Corb this summer. He was playing the Roots and Blues Festival in Salmon Arm, and we had tickets, and that didn't happen. But I don't know. I like the outlaw country. I don't like the pop country. I guess that's where the bottom line is for me.
Yeah.
If there wasn't that Smalls, if he didn't have that Smalls punk rock pedigree, would you still into?
Yeah, I'd probably still listen to him. Yeah, because he's got that honky tonk kind of outlaw thing to him, anyways, right?
Why don't you like Luke Combs then, man?
Dane, I'm so sorry that I hurt your feelings and the words that I said on those last ones. If it cut you deep, and I'm very, very sorry.
No,
I don't want to have to get you into therapy to get over this next little bit here. You're allowed to love what you love, and everybody has allowed guilty pleasures, like the episode is talking about. And I'm sorry.
It's all right, man.
I don't think a Luke Combs in the same breath as Corb Lund, though. Like, that feels like it's totally different music.
All I'm saying is that I think
Corb's not singing about beer. Corb's singing about,
what are you talking about? It's time to switch to whiskey. We've been drinking beer all night. It's the same shit.
I guess.
Come on, dude. I told you I was going to bring it.
I gave it a try.
I was going to bring it.
That's all right. There's no judgment here. Like I said, I don't judge you for liking Luke Combs. That's cool. It's not for me. And neither is Def Leppard.
Why not?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right.
Okay, we should probably wrap this up. I think we do one round. Do we all have a song that we can end with?
I've got one song that I'm going to go.
Dane, do you have a song?
I could think of
just one song.
Sure,
one each, and we're done. Okay, so Flip's next.
Okay, well, I'm going to end it off with, and it just came on the other day. It's kind of funny because Nicole and I were talking about guilty pleasures. I was like, you know what? This song is on my guilty pleasure list. And then I got into the truck the other day, and I was getting the tires changed, and it came on, and I snapped a shot of that on my my dashboard, and I sent it to Nicole, and I'm like, just so you know, I'm cranking it right now. She's like, good. And this song is going back to the 80s again. And this song is Manic Monday by the Bengals. That's
Just
my
a great song, man.
It's a
Monday.
oh, it's so good, man. Yeah,
That's
I
my
was going to
day.
get yeah. I was going to get the tires changed and it came on. I was like, yes. Cranked it in the truck, and then I just snapped a shot of it at the stoplight, and I just sent Manic Monday Bengals. Those were the 3 pictures I sent Nicole, and she's like, "That's awesome," because that's how it came up on my dash. So there you go. And I don't know. I don't know. Is there other Bengals songs that I would know? I'm not sure, but
I think that's
there's
it.
a band. Yeah, there's a band that I don't know any other catalog, but I love that song. I don't know what it is. It's
Pretty sure
it's
that's
one of those
it.
guilty. Okay, there you go. So Manic Monday Bengals. Actually, when I thought about it, I was like, is it by the Go-Go's? I always get the Go-Go's and the Bengals mixed up, but.
Yeah.
And Bananarama's in that mix too. I get all those mixed up too, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I had to look it up. But Bengals, yeah, okay, good. So there you go. Bengals, Manic Monday. There you go.
Wow.
Okay, I've got 2 really quick ones. I know it was just been 1, but I gotta fit 2 into this. So the first one I have to say, only because my wife is a giant Backstreet Boys fan.
There you are.
Okay, always hated Backstreet Boys, never gave any shits until I saw the movie This Is the End with Seth Rogen and yeah.
Oh, man.
So the very last scene of the movie is probably one of the greatest endings of a movie ever. And it's when they finally get sucked up to heaven and they're talking to each other, and it's like, what, you could have anything you want, make your first whatever. And guy closes his eyes and then opens his eyes, and here comes the Backstreet Boys singing Everybody. Everybody, and then just everybody explodes into dance, and it was so well done that I can't not enjoy that song now.
Yeah,
That
was a crazy movie.
That's the only thing, and like I said, I've always hated it until that movie, and it was like, okay, I was so entertained by that scene that's now on my guilty pleasure list.
Nice.
Yep.
And the other one is from the same time. Christina Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle. Now, I've always hated that song up until about 2 months ago. So I've been doing my guitar thing for a while and trying to do, put shit out on Instagram and YouTube and whatever. So on IG, you get to talking to other bands and musicians and shit. So out of nowhere, I get a message from a band in Pittsburgh called Disaster Theory. And they're a smaller project. They've only been around for a year, but the stuff that they're putting out is it's extremely well produced and put together. I was quite blown away by the end product of what they're doing. And they decided to do a cover of Genie in the Bottle. Or Genie in a Bottle. And they messaged me and was like, hey, we got this song, we're doing this cover, we're going to do a music video and all this other stuff. Do you want to do a guitar solo for it? Because they don't really have a proper lead guitarist in the band. So I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out. So they sent me their version of it, and their style is very, I want to say kind of Linkin Park-esque. It's very well done. Anyway, so they sent me this thing, and I did the solo, and since I did that, their version of the song has made me like the original.
She can sing, man.
Yeah.
Like I've when you see her live, and she's got pipes. There's no doubt about it. So I gotta respect that.
There's not a lot of auto-tune there.
No, she's for real. Like
Yeah.
every time I've seen her, she can actually sing. So that's a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, and that also links back to the Linkin Park, the whole Christina Aguilera, come and get some.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a funny time, hey, that like whole Britney Spears,
So weird.
Christina Aguilera. Yeah, like that whole scene was just a strange time. I don't know in music, but anyways. Yeah, no, those are good. Those are
are my
good.
two quick hits.
They're on the board.
Okay.
Dane, last but not least, what do you got?
Hit a home run on this one, pal.
Yeah, I mean, we just gave you Backstreet Boys, Bengals, and Christina Aguilera. So
hit it hard, hit it
now.
huge.
All right,
Yeah,
so
last one.
Babe Ruth, this shit. Do it.
my son is gonna turn 3 months old on Monday, so we're
Awesome.
we're listening to a lot of baby music, and usually that consists of a fucking clarinet and a synth.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like, am I listening to a Christmas song or is this like
I don't even know.
what am I listening to? And it all sort of just like blends into one thing. But I have not been able to get this one song out of my head for like a month. Fucking Banana Phone by Raffi. Holy fuck, it is the catchiest fucking song I've ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
so
awesome.
good.
And I even like,
You got to tag Rafi in this now, in this episode.
and like I like I've had friends and family and they've had children and like, oh shit, yeah, you're listening to the Wiggles, that must suck. And
We do that too.
I understand the genius of Raffi, even to the extent the other day my friend turned 41 and I sent him a Raffi song. Like, happy birthday, listen to this song. And I just like,
Was that the Apples and Bananas song?
that's also great.
Apples and bananas.
Right. It's like, how do you learn your vowels? Like, let's just fucking talk about bananas.
Genius.
The dude has a thing about bananas, obviously. But yeah, Banana Phone. It's crazy. It's just stuck in my head. It will not get out.
Awesome. Have you stumbled across the Rockabye Baby?
Oh yeah.
That compilation thing where they do like there's a Radiohead album and 9 Inch Nails and
Tool.
a Tool one.
Is there
and
Tool?
it's all
it's
awesome, man. Like it's the whole kind of bling 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 bling.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
the
a
Tool
great
songs. It's
impression.
fantastic.
Yeah, well, like we'll normally just listen to it and try and who's the first one to pick out the song. But yeah, I first heard of them as they did Gin
There's
and
a
Juice.
Nirvana one.
Is there? Yeah. Yeah, that one's that's great. It's brilliant, really.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. It really is brilliant. So that's my fucking Banana Phone.
That's a good
This
one.
song's driving me bananas, and I'm just like, yeah, me too, Ravi.
Oh man,
That's a good one to end on.
solid.
Yeah. You know what? To be honest with you, none of these really sounded like guilty pleasures to me.
Well,
I was
that's
just
the
like-
trick of.
How like deep do we have to go in order for it to be a guilty pleasure? I think we just kind of addressed this at the beginning, but it's a tough one.
It all depends on the individual, and it all depends on the demographic, and it all depends on. There's so many factors, and you know, if a song makes you happy, then whatever, fuck it, right? I mean, for the first, you know, for you hit 15, 13 to whatever, when you really start being involved in music at like 12, 13, and it's a magical thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then, from 13 to like 25, it's the most important thing in your world. And then, as you get older and older, your snobbery of it, or your angle, or your guard on it kind of changes. So it comes down to, at this point, being almost 40, it's like, if it makes you happy, fuck whatever. Just don't make me listen to it.
Exactly. I think about the other side of this though too. I always think about like somebody who loves like pop music, who loves, Backstreet Boys and everything. They're like, you know what, my guilty pleasure song, I love Mastodon. I don't know what it is. I just love Mastodon. Like, I just wonder if it flips completely on the other side.
I just like
you know what
saying
I mean? And they're like,
Mastodon.
Well, that's the thing too. When I met my wife, she was a huge Backstreet Boys fan, but she also knew Mastodon, and she also knew Death Clock, and she loved these albums. And it all depends, you know. It's whatever you're introduced to, and at what time in your life you're introduced to, and how you want to take it in, right? So
whatever scratches that itch, man. That's what it's all
the
about.
deal. Yeah. So, I mean, every once in a while you go back and some 90s Euro dance will come on, and for some reason I'll just get happy for no reason for these songs that I hated, but now that you play it, you just get this weird happy. You don't have anything involved in it emotionally or anything, and it's just on, and you just get this stupid smile on your face. It's that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guilty pleasure.
There you
There
go.
you go.
There you go.
There it is.
Cue the music.
Fade out.